Hi guys, welcome back. Happy Sunday to everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying their weekend so far. I wanted to pop on really quick and check in, say hello, and talk a little bit about the young man who went missing from Eaton, Indiana. He did go missing, I believe, on March 16th, but he has been found alive and well. So let me put that out there. That's important because that doesn't happen very often. So thank God he is alive and well. But it piqued my interest, and I do want to do a reading on it. I kind of want to do a reading on the whole environment in the home. But before I get into that and talk about why I have so many red flags popping up, if you guys haven't heard about this case, somebody who does a really good job of organizing their presentation, I feel, is Grizzly True Crime. I think her name is Gizla K, or I don't think it's Gizla. I think it's Gizla. I haven't watched a whole lot of anything lately, but I did yesterday and the day before watch a couple of videos, and one of the ones was Grizzly True Crime's coverage on this case of this 14-year-old boy. So his name was Scottie Dean Morris, and he went missing on the evening of March 16th from Eaton, Indiana, which is a very small area. I'd never heard of it. Many of you know that I live in Indiana, but I'm in the northern part of Indiana, and I Googled it because, you know, I like I said, I never heard of it, and it's about a 2.5-hour drive from here, so it's more of a southwest location from where I am, and it looks like it's about an hour and a half from Indianapolis, but Eaton itself, I think, has a population of less than 2,000, so probably one of those towns where everybody knows everybody. But what was odd about it was, or what garnered all of the attention, the social media attention, was the photo that was given to law enforcement for his missing person photo. He was wearing a white t-shirt that had written in it, permanent marker, things like, "I am a liar, I am a cheater, I hurt my little brother." And and here's the thing, okay, here's the thing. I'll probably put the photo up here, but what bothered me, okay, the shirt was bad enough, but really what bothered me were his eyes. His eyes looked so defeated. He looked so sad. He looked so sad. Oh, it just broke my heart. Like, you just want to give the little guy a hug and tell him that he's loved. Just awful, okay? Just a sad, sad photo. So I don't know why the parents decided to put that photo out of all the photos they must have of him. I don't know why they chose that one, but they did, and there was a huge backlash on it, to the point to where law enforcement ended up cropping out the shirt. Okay, so they kept that photo, but they cropped out what the shirt said. Now, another thing is that you can tell when you can tell by the writing, or at least I'm assuming it doesn't look like a 14-year-old's writing. So to me, probably mom or dad, my guess is mom, wrote that on his shirt and made him wear it for punishment. So anyway, apparently the night that this picture of him with this shirt was taken, it was that evening that he ran away. He left the home, and I believe police were called at about 8:30 p.m. and he was missing for a whole week. And, you know, it didn't really, there were a lot of people speculating that, you know, maybe this wasn't going to have a very good outcome. And it was starting to kind of pop up a little bit here and there that, you know, maybe mom and dad did something. Maybe he didn't just walk off, but I believe they had some video footage or something of him walking down the sidewalk, or I can't quite remember, but he did in fact walk away on his own. So a week goes by, nothing. They've been conducting searches. They had a candlelight vigil, and then lo and behold, thank God, the night before last, he was found. So they haven't really released a whole lot of information as far as where he was at. Oh, and by the way, mom and dad did take a lie detector test. They did pass the lie detector test, but then again, you have to wonder what kind of questions were asked, right? They obviously didn't harm him that night. I mean, depending on your definition of harm, but it didn't, they didn't, right? He's alive. So I could see them passing a lie detectors test based on the questions that were asked. But anyway, so I think I read today that there are 2 people that they interviewed in connection to him being found, but that those 2 people were released, and you know, nothing else is really being said. They said that they took him to the hospital for evaluation, and then they found him a safe place to go to after that. Now that really was like, okay, so a safe place tells me that going home isn't a safe place, or at least they're not sure it's a safe place. So there's a lot more to the story. I feel like in this situation, it's almost kind of like I'm thankful he's alive, right, and well, but it's almost like this needed to happen to possibly prevent something worse from happening in the future. Because it just seems like, now, while he was missing, there's other kids in the home. He has a twin sister, so twin sister has got to be 14. The twin sister took to social media and was kind of communicating and going back and forth with, you know, people asking questions and, you know, whatnot. And she was really in defense mode of her mom and dad. She pretty much said that Scottie is bad, and when Scottie is bad, he gets punished. And that shirt was because he was bad and he was being punished. And, you know, instead of focusing on the shirt that he's wearing, let's just focus on finding Scottie. So I'm not quite sure what to make of that. There were some responses, and you can see all of these text or these communications online. But there were some of those responses that made me feel like, okay, this possibly could be coming from a 14-year-old girl, or it could be, you know, kind of dictated to her from mom. You know, I could see mom sitting there and saying, okay, put this out there, you know, say this or say that. I don't have that for a fact, but I'm just saying that I don't know. She was very, very defensive of her mom, especially her mom. I believe that dad was supposed to do a kind of like a press conference during that time. Mom did. Dad backed out at the last minute. So you can go online and you can see mom's plea to her son, begging him to come home. Red flags about that, because to me, I just got a vibe that it wasn't very genuine. Another thing that bothered me, well, 2 things that bothered me in her public plea to her son was, number 1, she told him that it's okay to come home, that he's not in trouble. And number 2, don't be afraid of the police. They're there to help you. But if you are afraid of the police, call me or your dad and we'll come and get you. So, number 1, to me, when you say something like, don't be scared, or, you know, you're not in trouble, it's because a lot of the times you're in trouble. So that just tells me that this kid apparently is in trouble a lot, according to his mom and dad's idea of trouble. I don't know what he does. They've never said. Number 2, he's scared of the police. And so that tells me that that is coming probably from mom and dad as well, I would guess. You know, I hate it when young kids, you know, grow up in an environment that are, you know, encouraging them to be scared of authorities. And I do believe that that comes from people in the home. I don't think it just comes naturally, because, you know, in a situation, you know, if your kid is in trouble, you want them to be able to feel comfortable to go to authorities. And, you know, minus however you feel about law enforcement, whatever, that's not what I'm saying right now. All I'm saying is that if I have young children, you know, if they're in trouble, I want them to know that the police are there to help them. So, you know, couple things. He's always in trouble, and apparently he's scared of the police. Okay, so, and that made me think, why is he being potentially deterred away from authority figures? Is it because you don't want your child slipping up and saying something. So do you create fear so that your child won't even go in that area or around those types of people? So there's that. But anyway, so dad apparently has other children, and I don't know. It just seems like a mess. But anyway, we don't know what his behaviors are at home, but there have been people coming out talking about Scottie, people who, have worked with him at school. Other people have come out and said that he is a very, very kind, really, really nice kid. In fact, one of the words I believe used to describe him was jovial. So I don't quite know what's going on in the home, but for me, to have a child leave the home for a whole week, that is a long time for a 14-year-old. I don't know if he was eating. I don't know if he was, staying at a friend's house or inside of a shelter. I don't know if he was drinking water. That's a long time. He had no money, he had no phone, which I'm not surprised about the money situation, but I was surprised, or I am surprised about the phone, because most 14-year-olds do have a phone. Not saying that they have to have a phone, it's just that nowadays we live in a time where most 14-year-olds have a phone. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't have one. He very well could have one, but he didn't have one that night, okay? So he didn't take a phone with him. I don't know if he has one or not. But, that's another thing. Does he have a phone? Does his sister have a phone? If his sister has a phone and he doesn't, there's so many questions. Also, I do want to just throw out there that there was a silver alert put out there when he was missing. So there's got to be certain criteria met. Just like, for example, with an Amber Alert. I think that there's got to be some suspicion or something, pointing to a possible abduction. So there's some criteria to the silver alert, and you can look up the criteria for that, but I'll just leave it at that because nothing was really ever said and we don't know why it was a silver alert. But there's that too. So I don't know. I just feel like this is one of those instances where literally God stepped in, and this might be a situation that really ended up helping him in the long run, because I feel like whatever kind of treatment that he was receiving at home up to this point might cease, okay? Because things are, to me, there's just something going on in this house with this particular child. Now, they have other children, but I don't know if they received the same treatment as Scottie or not. But I don't know. Like I said, for him to go away for a week, I mean, you hear of kids saying that they're going to run away, and they may leave, they may go down the street, and then they come back. But no, this young man goes off for an entire week. So I'll be curious to know where he was, where he went. But at the end of the day, we're just thankful, right? Thankful that he was found alive and well, and hopefully, when authorities put out there that they put him in a safe environment, they're going to make sure that he is continuously in a safe environment. So let me know, have you heard of this case? What do you think about it? What do you think about mom and dad and sister? The photo, the t-shirt, the punishment t-shirt, I think that that's really degrading, and I'm all about consequences, but there's a difference between consequences and just downright meanness and humiliation. So all right, so I'm home. I'm going to put this up for you guys tonight, and I again hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye.